This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up? Just remember when you come up. The show goes on.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by Burger King, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, KFC, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on their desk, unaffected by their threats. Then get busy on they. See, that's how that Chi-Town made me. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have to pay me. Go on and put your hands up. When times is hard, you stand up. LUP the man, cause a brand that
You're running locked into the Tuesday, May 19th edition of Talking. Naughty and right up until 6 p.m. on this Tuesday edition. And it is Tuesday, and we got lots to talk about. We're going to open up the lines. MJ, what's good? I know you got a big Kool-Aid smile on your face. 41 points, 24 rebounds, and like I said, the Spurs are up 1-0 in that series, man.
They are up, and you were right on the call, but it wasn't just a win. It was just an amazing game, and I think everyone that watched that game last night will admit that that was a great, really, really good playoff game.
And we'll wax poetic on it in the 5 o'clock hour. But yeah, Wemby, listen, not to be undersold, though. Great performance from Wemby.
41 points.
Stephon Castle had a dunk in that game last night. It was absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was nice. For sure, it was nice.
Nice game. That series is far from over, though. But, you know,
of course.
I look forward to watching the Knicks and the Cavs, too. I think that should be an interesting series. And like I said, we'll talk in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll get into some sports today. But we got to talk about a lot of things today, MJ, especially the things that it seems like certain pockets of the island don't want to talk about. But we have to talk about them. They're not going to go away. And I think we need to talk about them and address them because the rest of the world is addressing them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot is happening. I saw a headline in the paper today that said that the price of groceries is going up. And I'm sure, like, the Bahamians wondering, like, can we catch a break? Meanwhile, you know, I think Mr. Rupert Roberts was the one who spoke out from Super Value. And, you know, he talked about how they've had to absorb over $1 million in costs because of the VAT rate on unprepared foods going down to 0. But instead of it being 0 rated, it was VAT exempt. So the company is absorbing those costs. And that means now, which we suspected, which we said when it was, you know, it was designed this way to be VAT exempt as opposed to 0 rated. We said that ultimately everybody's going to have to pay anyway, right? Everybody's going to have to pay. And so it looks like that day is closer and closer upon us where you could get VAT down to zero technically, but it doesn't necessarily translate into savings because we have to pay for it somewhere else. So we're battling that. We're dealing with that. And I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, I thought there would be some solutions in sight. But like I say, you hit the ground running and you still got problems from the past dragging in to the future. And you still got people wagging their tongues on another hot issue. Did you see that press release?
Which one? Press releases have been going out. They've been going out like crazy today. I've read like at least 4 in the past hour, and I'm just shaking my head. Most of them revolve around pretty much the same 2 topics, which include what is happening in our what did Tribune call cocaine files, the cocaine files, as well as the cabinet, the big Gussie cabinet, and some objections that some persons may have to some of the people appointed. So yeah, that's what I've been seeing, a bunch of press releases concerning. And you? All right, Mr. Producer, let's go to a quick break. We'll be right back. You guys are listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Already the show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Alright.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
KFC has a bold new flavor you'll love. Introducing the all-new Barbecue Rap Star. We're talking a juicy chicken breast filet, fried to golden crisp perfection, covered in sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, topped with cheese, then wrapped in a delicious tortilla with flavor in every bite. Go spicy or keep it original. Either way, it's a star for a reason. The new Barbecue Rap Star is the star of the menu at KFC Nassau. Get yours today at any KFC Nassau location.
With fine styles, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you want to look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, want to step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. With fine style, with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place, is your place.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
It's time for the buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John Shoes.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Already the show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Already the show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever
We're back at you on the Tuesday, May 19th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. And real quick, just touching on, before I got disconnected, MJ, I know you touched on the press release, correct? Not did MJ drop?
No. I'm back in. A little bit of technical difficulties happening here, but I'm here.
You mentioned the press release, correct?
No, I said that there were several press releases that I've gone over in the past hour, and we could start to get into some of them. Where do you want to go? What are we talking about?
All right, let's get the caller out of the way, and then I'll get to the press release, one that I saw that just jumped out, dripping of righteous indignation. But I'll get to that in a second. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, MJ and Naughty, always doing a fantastic job, and thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, man, y'all doing a great job. I just want to encourage y'all to continue.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bring
so
the truth
much,
to the
caller.
people, and the people that will continue talking. Yes, So just touching on the fact that they would have said that they're bringing relief with all these basket items and all this relief with the groceries and everything. And, yeah, everything can always get past the consumer, darling heart. For those who are always awake and watching, of course, somebody got to pay for the cost.
Yeah.
And so whenever they promise us these things, they're doing this and they're doing that. Yeah, the merchants have to pass the cost to somebody. So when the government say, okay, well, we can do this and we can do that, and then they can fall on the merchants obviously can put it on the consumers. It always comes down to the consumers.
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially since it was done this way, you know, it was VAT exempt as opposed to zero. If it were zero rated, then these particular costs wouldn't have had to been passed on to us. But the government chose to do it this way, which means we probably end up paying more, you know.
And then a lot of people think, oh, we're getting relief. That time they don't even know how it goes.
Yeah, it's a little trick.
Because a lot of people don't know how it works.
Yeah, that's.
They just like, look at my government, hallelujah. That time you don't know it's getting passed on to you when you're paying your bill at the end of the day.
Well, I hope they saw the headline today, because now we all know it's being passed on to us.
But MJ, you think people just read, man? The average, me and you just read.
Lord.
The average don't read.
Oh Lord. All right, we can keep talking then.
Let me go. Listen here, I love you all, man. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. All right, MJ.
Yes.
All right, the press release I want to address is one coming out of West End.
All right, let's give them a little bit of backstory first. So I think most persons may have heard already. Some may not have heard. It was the main headline in the paper today, the other daily, the Tribune, where there were some questions put to the MP-elect for West Grand Bahama, Kingsley Smith. According to the Tribune, they say that he is said to have chartered that election day flight that crashed into the ocean with a convicted cocaine smuggler, Jonathan Player Gardner, aboard. But he declined to answer questions yesterday, saying only, quote, "No comment right now, buddy," end quote.
Well, and guess what? I think he got that out of the Leslie Miller book of political quotes.
But, I mean, it's such a straightforward question, right? Like, did you charter the flight? No comment right now, buddy. Why?
As much as I'm tempted, you know, just to, because you know I like to act the fool around the house, especially when we're cooking or doing things. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to stick with, Madam Speaker, the member is not prepared to answer at this time.
That's
I cannot recall.
Way.
And we have a surplus, or I'm diabetic, and the officer in the khaki uniform told me I could smoke it. But I'm not going to say, hey, buddy, not right now, buddy, because I think you would kung fu to the back of the neck if I come with that one.
No comment right now, buddy. That is amazing. You know, that is an amazing statement to come from, you know, an MP-elect, particularly because this particular subject matter is so important to so many Bahamians right now. Let me just read a little bit more from this Tribune story before we get to his statement. When told there were serious questions about how Gardner, now in custody in the United States, came to be aboard the flight, Kingsley Smith, the PLP MP for West Grand Bahama, said, quote, "We will get into that at some point," end quote, and he would not elaborate. And now this afternoon, we have
Here
a
comes
statement.
the statement. I got it right here.
Go ahead.
Statement from Kingsley Smith, Member of Parliament elect for West Grand Bahama, immediate release May 19th, 2026. I am aware of the news stories circulating that reference my name, full stop. Given the reports, this is an obvious attempt to force me to argue a negative, full stop. The report is in the public domain as they relate, or the reports in the public domain as they relate to me are salacious, defamatory, and entirely ill-conceived. End.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Okay. Somebody has likely...
Excuse me. Let me say the righteous indignation is on fleek on that one. What is that, at 2,000%, 3,000%? My God.
Somebody has lawyered up, likely. Someone has likely lawyered up because the language, unless he's a lawyer himself, I can't remember. I know he used to be chief passport officer, but I'm not sure
be a lawyer with no
if
bank
he's an
account.
attorney.
Lawyers love bank accounts. They sell 3 and 4 of them. Come on now.
So it's interesting. There's a popular expression in like politics these days, you know, the dog that didn't bark, which is a situation where you would expect something to happen, but it doesn't happen. So if you're in this Tribune story today, very specific questions came to you and you've decided, maybe on legal advice, we don't know yet, that you're not going to answer those questions, but you do want to put a statement out there. Some of the things that he mentioned, like having to argue in the negative, you could kind of see where that's salient because the allegation out there pertains to politician one, correct? And he's not being asked about that. But if that's what he's thinking about, if that his name is being tied into this fuller story, then yes, he has a point about having to argue in the negative. That is difficult to do, specifically since he may not know if, you know, there are any references to him outside of the story that we're seeing in the Tribune. But when you're asked a very specific question, like, did you charter the flight? I mean, that's not arguing in the negative to say yes or no. You know, when you're asked about...
That's a simple answer, simple question, simple answer.
When you're asked to elaborate a little bit on your connection to this flight, since you're, you know, being reported as being the one that chartered the flight, that's not arguing in the negative to make that clear, particularly at this precarious point. But in terms of Mr. Smith, obviously he's not prepared to answer questions at this time. And that is the statement he chose to put out. Now, he's not the only one that put out. Finally, after we heard the communications secretary earlier today say that he would wait for the prime minister to speak on it, I'm talking about Mr. Raming, because of the seriousness of this this whole situation that we're dealing with. Finally, we did get a press statement out of the office of the prime minister. So I'll read that now. The government of the Bahamas has seen the allegations arising from a U.S. investigation as reported in the press and takes this matter extremely seriously. The government of the Bahamas will reach out to the relevant U.S. authorities to seek the sharing of information, obtain any available evidence, and establish the facts through the proper law enforcement channels. Local law enforcement authorities will also commence their own inquiries. To date, the government has received no official information identifying any public official in relation to this matter. The position of the government of the Bahamas remains wherever wrongdoing is established, any person involved will be held accountable without fear or favor, and the chips will fall where they may, end quote. So we have that strong statement about having the chips fall where they may coming out of the office of the prime minister. And I think it was like overdue, you know, like the seriousness of this. I would have expected the statement yesterday, but nevertheless, we got it today, which is at least a first move. I'm a little concerned about the part where it says local law enforcement authorities will also commence their own inquiries. When that plane went down last week Tuesday, a week ago today, we know or knew at that time a couple of things that would have necessitated an investigation start almost a week ago. The first being that the flight was going from Abaco to Grand Bahama. And the second being that, so far, based on international news reports and local reports, the passengers were all Bahamian. So how is it that a week later, we're just now getting to this stage where an investigation is starting? This is curious. Weird stuff.
Very weird. Text lines powered by BTC 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4316. Toll free in any one of the family islands, 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. Stream us live, take us wherever you want to go, GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Howdy, MJ. How y'all doing today?
Good afternoon, bro. What's good?
It's a regular Bahamian. You know when they like up those truck busting thing, right? And they catch one shipment come through. And then you don't know how much others get through, right? That's what
Correct.
I think about this $30,000 what is in this guy thing up. It's the only thing we know about. Understand what I'm saying? Because I'm sure all the people who's on that place were in PLP power for the year.
Yeah, some pictures did come out. Yeah. We saw them.
I saw some videos
so
also.
How much of this money is and thing on election day? But that's illegal, correct?
Well, we don't know what the money is being used for, but I tell you something: 30,000 on election day does look very, very problematic. I'm sorry, it looks terrible.
It's terrible. I as a Bahamian, I ain't follow no party. I as a Bahamian first. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And more Bahamians, more PLPs should be upset with this whole situation. Because this put a black eye on the whole Bahamas.
Yeah.
You understand? And they need to come
And
to a
it
resolution
continues
and
to
let us
go-
know what's going on with this whole situation.
It continues to go international as well, too, because it's gone from like Vero news reports and stations now to
in
major
Europe.
local stations in Orlando and
Just
Jacksonville.
in Europe right now, Al Jazeera, all them the stations in England, all them have this up on this thing of this all over the world. This ain't just in the USA. So the government have to do something about this and let the people know do something. Say a statement. That
I agree.
statement what they said earlier, I ain't into that.
That ain't
They
it.
to be clear.
Yeah.
You understand?
No, I agree. I agree
More
with you, Carla.
More forceful.
Stronger.
And talk to all their people. And let us know what's going on.
I agree.
Great points, caller. Good stuff. Let me get to the text lines real quick. Attention, Naughty and MJ mangroves here in Roll Town, Exuma, without approval.
What?
Can you please have the authorities out of Nassau come here and stop this madness? All right. Eric Terry and Uncle Joe Dovel, I know if you are listening, please, run the wire on your end and double check. Got a message to Joe Dovel and Eric Terry for me right now, listeners, whoever know them. And when we get off there, we will definitely get that message to them. But that's to be a little more specific. Who's tearing down the mangroves in Roll Town, Exuma? That makes no sense. And I hope it has nothing to do with
any developments going on down there.
Correct. Because they were supposed to be halted.
Text or send us more
Especially
information.
the dredging.
Pictures if you have it as well. You need to find out what's going on in Exuma.
Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. You heard the last caller on the show before you asking how a life raft got on a plane. Guess they don't fly. All water crossing boats and aircraft should have life rafts and life vests as part of their safety equipment. And U.S. Coast Guard threw more life rafts out of the helicopter as well too. So
yeah, but most planes come equipped with life rafts. That's like, especially when you travel over water, like most of our inter-Bahamas flights do. So yeah, they would be equipped with life rafts.
Here's a good one right here, MJ. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Naughty and MJ, good afternoon. MJ, who is politician number 1 and then 2, 3, 4, and 5?
I know, right?
Who was involved in this drug cartel in the House of Assembly?
This is why we have to because I actually read the indictment in full yesterday, and I noted that it didn't say just politician. It was plural, politicians. So I really need us to, hurry up and wrap this very bad episode up. I understand that the government says that now we're launching an investigation. It's a little bit late, but at least it's happening. As a matter of fact, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also released a statement. Let me read that, because today, finally, they released a statement. By the way, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, y'all check the date on that because you have an inaccurate date on it, but I know it was released today. Okay, so it says the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is aware that a Bahamian citizen who survived the plane crash on the 12th of May, 2026, and who was rescued by United States authorities remains in custody in the United States. The ministry thanks the United States Coast Guard, the United States Air Force, and all relevant United States authorities for the professionalism shown in bringing those rescued to safety. The government of the Bahamas is cooperating fully with United States authorities through the appropriate diplomatic, consular, legal, and treaty channels. The ministry continues to seek consular access to the Bahamian citizen and will remain engaged with United States authorities on the matter. Thus far, the Bahamas Consul General has not been allowed access to the detainee. And that is very interesting.
Very interesting.
That is interesting. I know that when this this whole trafficking narrative and all of the officials caught up in it. When we first heard mention of a politician, high-ranking politician potentially involved in trafficking, I know that back then, you heard the Prime Minister as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs said that they had reached out to their counterparts in the U.S. They were trying to get the name of that high-ranking official and that they were unsuccessful. I think they said they sent a couple of diplomatic notes, no response. And now we're being told that so far the Bahamas Consul General has not been allowed access to Mr. Gardner, who is a detainee in the United States right now. And that raises some more questions, just the way that this whole thing is unfolding. But I think at least the government is engaged now, right? And they need
now,
to be.
Finally, after a fashion.
They need to be. The fact that they're just thanking the U.S. for rescuing, or I think most of the Bahamians, the ones that weren't locked up, are back home, have been back home.
They was on Bahamian time on the thank you. I can let them slide with that one. The investigation is what I'm glad they finally started on. Let's get to the phone. Let's get to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty, how you doing?
Hey, good afternoon.
MJ, good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Much respect. MJ, I just want you and Naughty to know, and I know you all are intelligent people. So is the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Highly intelligent. Believe me when I tell you, they know everything. But this country is being run like a secret society amongst a group of people, and they don't reveal certain things because they're trying their best and trying their best to see how best this could not get into the public of the Bahamian people to diminish them. They have held it off long enough, and now I pray God that God reveal the truth and everything that is going on concerning corruption with this government, whether it's the PLP or FNM, let it all be revealed so the Bahamian people can be aware of what's going on in the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's get to the other calls. Talking Heads.
Hey, Gracious, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, I know you're talking about running shipments, right? But could you wish Miss Thompson happy birthday for a second, please?
Go ahead.
Yeah, tell Miss Thompson from Wellington Woods Associates, happy birthday, please.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Thompson.
Okay, now we can continue finish talking about running shipments.
Well, I don't know if that's what we're calling it, but okay. I roll it with you. That's what we're talking about. Did we lose the caller?
Is he still there? Call us back, caller.
Speaking of the dog that didn't bark, there were some more announcements today, some more parliamentary secretaries announced today. And this is, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later about the cabinet and how huge this cabinet is. I mean, just about everybody.
Boy, listen here, when we talking
everybody
about that.
got a cabinet position or cabinet adjacent. But I wanted to know this. All right. So we have Mr. Obi Roberts, who's MP-elect for Southern Shores. He's now Parliamentary Secretary for the Environment. Randy Roll, coming out of Bimini and the Berry Islands, who's the Parliamentary Secretary for Tourism. We have Mr. Bradley Fox Jr., who's coming out of Abaco as Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works. Congratulations to all of them. Those are the ones that are in the House. Outside of the House in the Senate, we have Clint Watson, who's going to be working in OPM as a parsec, and Keenan Johnson, a parsec in education. But I want to note something, because since you have all of these now cabinet ministers, ministers of state, and parliamentary secretaries who are not technically in the cabinet, but who also take an oath of secrecy, we'll call it, or like collective responsibility, we'll call it, that basically leaves Patricia DeVoe, who's expected to return as Speaker, Sylvanus Petty, who's expected to return as Deputy Speaker, Jamal Strawn, who is being rumored to be the new chairman at Beaches and Parks Authority. That's the rumor, and waiting for confirmation on that. And then in a kind of cheese stands alone way, you have Kingsley Smith, who was formerly a parliamentary secretary, but so far we haven't heard any announcements about a place in this in the executive branch of the Davis administration. So that's another dog that hasn't barked. We'll wait to see what comes of that. Where he's appointed.
When I first looked at that cabinet, I was like, well, motto, that's a big cabinet, eh?
That's huge.
Motto, that cabinet huge, eh?
That it is like,
Boy, that
wow.
cabinet bunk right up. Hey, boy, that's a fat cabbie right there.
It's a big, big cabinet. Like everybody got a post. Basically, what's happening now is, in terms of any kind of accountability, you cannot get it from the government party in the House. You can only get it from the opposition at this point, because everybody else, saving for the speaker and deputy speaker, who are supposed to be neutral, then you have Mr. Strawn, and then you have Kingsley Smith. That is it. Everybody else is attached to ministry, either as a minister, substantive, state minister, or parliamentary secretary. This is troublesome, right? This is troublesome because you do want to have a house that has some kind of power from the backbench, even on the governing side. Like none of it exists now. I think just like 2 true free members. And that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem for our democracy.
And that's all right, catch yourself, Mr. Producer. Catch yourself. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
If the 17-member cabinet of the FNM was called Gussie May, guess what they're calling this one?
What?
No offense, MJ.
Oh, Lord. Get your beep ready, Mr. Producer.
Big
what
back.
they calling it?
Big back.
Big back. Okay, you know what? The big back cabinet. Oh, my
I ain't gonna lie, that's a big back cabinet for real. They got plenty big backs in there for real.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
No, I'm still wondering as to how that Melbourne airport in Orlando came into play.
Because they ended up, I think, 50 miles off Vero Beach. That was the original reporting. And then when you're dealing with U.S. Air Force assets, I don't think they land just any place. I think they probably have the facilities to land, or maybe the training originated out of Melbourne. That's how they ended up back there, because the Air Force was involved in rescuing those Bahamians. So,
The pilot.
How the pilot?
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean how the plane ended up in U.S.? Well, they said they drifted. They landed in international waters, and then they just drifted.
They had instrument failure. Didn't the GPS go out?
That's what we're hearing.
Anyway,
I heard some other things too, Carla, but I heard a GPS went out. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, me too.
All right, now, good stuff as always, man. Let me get to these texts real quick, MJ. Naughty and MJ, the Prime Minister is a drug defense lawyer. He's a KC, so why are we surprised that he's dragging his feet on this matter? Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Question, are they not calling any names because they're too close to getting their green passports? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Naughty and MJ, there is no evidence that Mr. Smith did anything wrong. But did he receive any appointment by the PM? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
The dog that didn't bark. I agree that there's no evidence. We still don't know who politician one is, right? The U.S. has chosen not to reveal that. They redacted it in, as well as in the actual indictment they put out. They have not named who politician one is, even though they have linked that particular politician to the drug trafficking meeting that happened in our parliament, right? So we know that those two persons are one and the same, according to U.S. authorities. But they're not under any obligation to us to reveal their sources and methods, right? That's what they like to say. They're not telling their sources and methods. This case still has to go to court in the Southern District of New York. So maybe, that consideration is why they haven't revealed the names yet. But we're the Bahamas. We're our own country. We need to get to the bottom of this. I'm actually kind of appreciative of them, holding off for the moment in terms of the name. Let us deal with this. Let us handle our business here at home. I don't need the U.S. splashing it across international headlines revealing that. Let us, when the story breaks, if anything further comes out of this, and if that politician is eventually charged, please let the headline be former Bahamian politician, ex-MP. I don't want it to be a current someone still sitting up in the House of Assembly that's eventually charged or named, right? So this gives us an opportunity to quickly deal with this matter, cut off the part that's cancerous, and let us move on as a country. That's like our best option right now.
Check this one out. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. They're holding the opening of the House at Atlantis because they're afraid the Black Hawk is coming. What kind of Black Hawk? The similar Black Hawk did the one, back in the day, Fred Mitchell signed some paperwork for the Black Hawk that came in and carried Mr. Knowles away?
No Black Hawk.
But I'll be honest with you, I believe this is a reward from Jerome the homie, who's back on the political scene. Jerome the homie's back, and I think he's rewarding his Atlantis group.
We got to talk a little bit about the cabinet, though. The appointments, I think we touched on it yesterday, but my goodness, do we have a lot of ministries and then some separations that we didn't normally have. Transport is its own standalone ministry now. National security is much lower than it has been traditionally, which kind of surprised me, right? I think you got to get down in the teens to get to national security. So that's a lot.
It is, and like I said, people got their own take on everything. Okay, here we go. Boy, the text flying in now. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. We don't want a written statement. We want our two-time sitting leader to face us and say what needs to be said. OPM is looking very shabby. MJ, what a lovely coincidence that this scandal broke before the PM's climate conference. I guess we can kiss those carbon credits goodbye.
One thing that I am happy of, I can say this, I had the Prime Minister to kind of get us a little bit more in that particular space last administration. I've said this before, because he started off and, he had the whole climate and the environment as a central focus when he started off. And he did that really good speech at the United Nations, saying we can't run from your emissions or so forth and so on. He didn't take up a portfolio this time. He has not taken up a specific portfolio. We know that Minister Halkitis will serve as Minister of Finance. And so this kind of frees the Prime Minister that if his goal is to really go hard, and it's not as easy, because let's be honest, the whole world has changed around us in terms of what we're going to do about climate change. You know that the U.S. administration that's in power right now.
Yeah, now they've changed, correct.
They are not on that whole climate run. But if it is something that the Prime Minister is going to focus on, getting us the funding, getting us the carbon credit money, getting us money from our natural resources, as well as finally building infrastructure. We need seawalls, we need drains. So much to prepare us for what we know is coming in the future. The one good thing I can say about the way that he's lined this up is that he's kind of freed himself. If that's going to be his focal point, if that's going to be his legacy, then he definitely has, I would think, more space and time to do it now. So let's see what happens.
The Trump administration is to climate change, but the PLP is to the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, they ain't on that right.
MJ and Naughty looks like Roger Stone and that other influencer the government of the Bahamas hired in the last administration will be earning the thousands of dollars by representing the Bahamas government interest and putting in a good word to the U.S. government. Laugh out loud, laugh out loud, laugh out loud.
How long is that contract for? You got to be with this pretty soon. You got to be done.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. We have this big back cabinet costing us a country millions of dollars in salaries, and we don't have an aspirin in our nation's hospital. Absolutely disgraceful. Naughty and MJ.
That's hard.
Do you realize that the pilot had to travel north for the Melbourne airport to come into play? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah, I understand and I get what people are saying, but I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a pilot. I haven't had a chance to speak to any pilots. I'm not going to what a pilot does in an emergency. So I get people's concerns. I've flown from Abaco to Grand Bahama before, but it wasn't an emergency flight. So I can't really get too deep into, what decisions they made when their lives were on the line. Not sure about all of that.
Naughty, I saw what you did there. Say it again. As a matter of fact, from here on out, I'm no longer referring to Gussie May Cabinet as Gussie May. I'm referring to it as the fat cabbie.
It's huge. It's a lot of people. Just about everybody got, and I'm sure they're all happy. I am sure that they're ecstatic. I'm sure they're excited to continue. Most of them are in the same area they were in before, but it is a huge cabinet. We have no backbenchers. So now the 8 members of parliament that were elected for the Free National Movement, they got to be the Iron 8. Because the thing is, they're going to be the only ones in the House of Assembly, in practical effect, that will hold this government accountable. And so, yeah, they're going to have to be on top of their game, perform well for the Bahamian people in terms of accountability. But this cabinet is huge. And I'm also a little bit concerned, I'll be honest with you, with some of the overlap in some of these ministries. You know, you have education, science and technology, then you have innovation. I feel like there's a bit of an overlap there. You have the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Mitchell, who didn't attach immigration to his title, but then the Minister of Immigration is actually a state minister. I feel like if you wanted to go that route and not have foreign affairs be open about being the substantive Minister of Immigration, then you should have just given Mr. Pickstock the Minister of Immigration portfolio and make it substantive, you know, not just as Minister of State. So I'm a little bit interested to see how they're going to work together. There's a lot, according to the Prime Minister, that has to be done. He switched his talks on 2011 to kind of justify why outrageous cabinet that he once said, you know, having big cabinets like this was an insult to the Constitution. But apparently we should be happening quickly.
All right, let me, Mr. Producer, we have any callers? Let me know if we have any callers. We'll get to them. But let me get to these texts. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. The country is cash-strapped to pay its bills. With all the Gussie May cabinet, there will be many new cars to purchase, lease. Also, perks and benefits. Our national debt will increase significantly. MJ and Naughty, you all think Cindy Patrice could spin this off for $8,000 a month? What text are you trying to get Anton and Johnny 2 times? I've said
we don't know what people. Y'all just.
You want Anton and Johnny 2 times have a coronary?
Oh Lord.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Very interesting. Kingsley was supposed to be sworn in today at 3 p.m. There was a sudden change. Why?
Oh, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe because that particular story appeared in another daily, and you know, maybe they're trying to like figure out some things, but so far we don't know him to have any, because he's not answered it. That the bigger question right now surrounding Mr. Smith is just accountability, because you know, the other daily put out some questions. They say that they have some reporting around who chartered the flight. So he is receiving questions on that end. But we have to do our own investigations on this. And we still have no idea who politician 1 is that was brazen enough to go into the, allegedly, according to a sworn indictment, you know, be negotiating this huge delivery of illicit drugs. So those are the things that I think the government needs to focus on and investigate and get to the bottom of now. And I don't like, and when I say don't like, I mean because it's making it bigger. I don't like how this situation, they say, ties directly to what happened back at the end of 2024 when we saw members and officials in our armed forces get arrested in the U.S. One has already pled guilty and has been sentenced. We have other trials coming up early 2027. So this is like a big ball that's all being tied together. It's being stitched together. And if you read the indictment, it's now even reaching into government contracts, right? And
right,
those government contracts are tied in with other financial institutions that have good reputations here. So, and then we don't know the vetting that the government did. So there are so many questions. I don't want our answers to come from the U.S. I want us to deal with this. We're a sovereign nation. We can handle this. And I just want us to do it with some speed. Don't wait around, because if everything comes out in a big ball in the Southern District of New York, it is going to be that much more difficult to manage in terms of the reputation of this country. And everybody shouldn't be painted with a negative brush because some people decided to do foolishness.
All right, let me get these texts in real quick, MJ. Our PM is trying to imitate Barbados PM Mia Motley. Naughty and MJ, the AP with its global reach is now carrying this shameful story. MJ, you want us to deal with this locally, but if we deal with it locally, you know, girl, it's going to get swept under the rug. What Black Hawk, Naughty? You mean the one with Brave sent for 90? Anyway, good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Anyway, let me leave that alone for now until we get confirmation. Naughty and MJ, it's scary. The PM feel free to travel. I'm afraid of that bill.
Oh, you mean because we have a big cabinet now and everybody could be traveling?
Correct.
Oh, man.
We missed that GEA agent said he is not revealing all he knows at this time. So if these guys think the guy could get someone to eat this one, as the boat captain said, the Americans are clearly looking for the king politician. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. How did Sebastian and Mrs. Miller Bryce become ministers? This is corruption at its finest. Hey, Naughty and MJ, if I'm to catch a cab, I hope it's not cabby number 29.
I actually saw something released recently from the Christian Council, right? I told you we had like 5 press releases in the last hour or so. The Christian Council called on the Prime Minister to reconsider his cabinet appointments involving gaming interests. So just the first couple paragraphs from this. It says, quotes, the Bahamas Christian Council notes with deep concern the appointment of 2 cabinet ministers whose long-standing public association with the gaming industry has raised serious questions in the minds of many Bahamians. We speak on this matter not from a place of personal opposition toward any individual, nor from a desire to inflame public controversy. We speak because the Bahamas Christian Council has a solemn responsibility to help shape the moral fiber of the nation, to defend principles that preserve public trust, and to raise his voice when the integrity of our democracy is at stake. End quote. I'll stop it there. But it's a very long release. It's too long for me to read here. But now they're speaking up. The thing about it is, and I do want to talk about this a lot, right? This idea about the cabinet ministers and the appointments that have gaming interests. Now, we were told on Saturday that we would be getting a press statement from the gaming board. I'm still waiting. If you've seen a press statement from the gaming board, please forward it to us. I haven't seen anything yet. And I do want to hear their position on this. They are the regulators. I want to hear their position on this before we comment on it. But yeah, this thing about the ministers who have gaming interests is something that a lot of people are talking about.
And they got their eyes over it. They're watching it. They're not letting it come out of their sight. Let's get to the phone.
I know that the government has a lot going on, but this is the gaming board we're speaking to now. You guys need to release that statement so we can understand the rationale behind these appointments and then, move from there.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are in the hot seat. You chose to be in the hot seat. I love the way your bravery. That's you and your madam.
I have no madam. I have a beautiful wife.
Oh, but yeah. I always get in trouble with that, right? Sorry about that. I always get in trouble with that. Yeah. No, I know for sure an answer will be forthcoming because Lady MJ is not letting the matter go, and therefore the answer will come forward. Now, I think the Prime Minister was very wise to call an early election. I say no more.
We have a budget. Yeah, we have a budget coming up. You need to. Yeah.
You said the budget was the reason for the early election? Okay,
I'm not sure what the reason is, but that's one of it, because we're supposed to get 75 million surplus, and I'm not sure if that's still coming.
Yes,
I don't know.
But on the same note, because we say that the current government and the party, the PLP, normally keeps matters close to the chest in house, and they don't disclose their dirty laundry in public. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't heard anything as yet. So I am just being devil's advocate and giving them the benefit of the doubt.
It makes sense for it makes sense for the party, but we're not talking about the PLP party. We're talking about the government now. So we expect a different standard for the government.
Yes, and a question is, I want to know when was the last time you had a large cabinet, and the number in it, because we're hearing of this large Gossamer, and we can see the large Gossamer, but I want to know what was the nearest largest one to it.
I think last term they had like 22.
Oh,
so the
my
last
Lord.
term.
So it's a continuation then. All right.
Because everyone that was a cabinet minister last time is a cabinet minister this time, plus some new people. So last time and this term, the two biggest ones.
The good thing about a majority, the government can do a lot of changes, perhaps in laws and all of that, so they don't have any opposition. They can even perhaps have a referendum or a referendum type of, to pass laws and things that, So let's hope and know that everything is done right. But this matter at hand is a serious matter, and we're hoping that we can get some answers as well.
Yeah, get it dealt with and put out the way, and then let's move forward to building up the country, Thank you so much, caller.
All right, let's get to the other call. Talking Heads.
Hey, good afternoon, Audie and MJ.
Good afternoon.
All right, listen, I heard a caller earlier when they was talking about the pilot said that he know what he was doing. He really know what he's doing. I don't know why he's flying so far north when Freeport is more to the south from Abago. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. But if you listen to the statement that, because I heard it on the previous show, even I heard it before, but when Penland sat with the newscast in America.
On NBC.
Yeah, right. With Jane Pauley.
Notice what he say what people didn't pay attention to. He has direct communication with the president based on his position.
Right.
So our prime minister have the same privilege. So I'm
sure he does.
Exactly who it is. Notice now, people talk about, Fred Mitchell should do this. Fred Mitchell can't, that's above his pay grade. That's why you don't hear Fred Mitchell yet on that. Or you already hear something. He go.
Well, he released a statement today, and he said that they have asked the U.S. for some, and they haven't gotten it yet. And they also said that our Consul General hasn't gotten access to Mr. Gardner's yet. So we're waiting to hear more from Mr. Mitchell.
Well, I don't know how much true they can believe from them. They ain't get a response yet. That's nonsense. This has been a week. And for those who had that meeting in the cabinet office, inside Parliament, all of them, whoever involved with that, should be made to resign in that sacred house doing that nonsense in there.
Yeah, that hurt. I won't lie to you. When I heard Parliament, I'm like, no, man. No, no way.
That's come on. That's the height of disrespect for Parliament.
Yeah, that hurts.
The PM
I agree.
needs to take a stand, and he needs to come and address the nation. I don't know what he's running from.
Hopefully we'll get an address. Hopefully.
And, come down to these no-bid contracts. But these alleged drug dealers having all these contracts. Now you'll get your answer. This is why these contracts no bid.
And the PPP. Good points, caller.
Yeah.
Good points. Let me get a couple of these texts, MJ. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. You said opposition must hold the government accountable. Not with this disgusting speaker who have refused the opposition's question and answer over and repeatedly over periods of time. It has to be different this going forward or moving forward.
Yeah. Real question time is good in the UK. I hope Bahamians go watch Question Time in the UK Parliament. That's serious business,
All right, we got to get to the news. Heartbreak coming up. Texters, we'll get the rest of your text in. Call us, hang tight. We'll pick you up after the news. MJ and I will talk about this and a few more topics, and we'll get to sports all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as the Tuesday, May 19th edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
One in the air for the people ain't here. Two in the air for the father that's there. Three in the air for the kids in the ghetto. Four for the kids that don't wanna be there. None for the trying to hold him back. Five in the air for the teacher not scared to tell those kids that's living in the ghetto that the holding back that the world is theirs. Yeah, the world is yours. I was once that little boy, terrified of the world. Now I'm on a world tour. I will give up everything, even start a world war for these ghetto girls and boys. I'm rapping around the world for Africa.
Turn a trip to Burger King Nassau into a galactic adventure with the Mondo and Grogu Whopper Combo, featuring special shake fries. Whether you're a bounty hunter in training or just here for your way, Burger King Nassau has everything Mandalorian and Grogu related you could want. Grab the toys, the mugs, the crowns, and your crew, and head on down to BK and celebrate the Mandalorian and Grogu adventure with Burger King Nassau. This is the way.
Boy, you You know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
But he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
Alright, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know. Nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I work?
All you gotta do is call them or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info? And when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Already the show goes on all night till the morning. We dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by Burger King, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, KFC, Printmasters, and Tropical Gyros.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on they desk, unaffected by they threats, then get busy on they. See, that's how that shit tell me, man. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play. You are my home.
We're back at ya on the Tuesday, May 19th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. Open line edition. And we're over into the 5 o'clock hour. We will talk sports in short order, but we got a few more things that we need to talk about that need to be addressed. And let me get to the text lines real quick and get them out of the way. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Do y'all remember how Trump deals with drug trafficking, especially off the coast of Venezuela? I haven't been fishing for months. And right up until now, I don't think I go in the near future. Thanks, PLP. According to the lady who was on the crash plane, anyway, watch out for the Ministry of Labor. Over 1,000 PLPs get promised government jobs this lap. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. It's nice to hear the Christian Council take a stand. We as Bahamians take a stand. We as Bahamians the size of this cabinet that the taxpayers has to pay for. Bahamians should address the side. MJ and Naughty, I was listening. It is a big cabinet. You're on mute, MJ.
So yeah, it's a huge cabinet, sorry. And I'm looking at it, trying to pick out the ones that are going to bring like costs down, right? Like, can we rely? And I'm hoping we can rely on, Ministry of Finance to do some things to make the cost of living better. I noticed that we also have Economic Affairs. Jerome Fitzgerald, a former minister in the Christie administration, was brought back into the cabinet, which is its own mini scandal in itself, right? Because a lot of people recall that his time was very tumultuous and sort of controversial. Well, not sort of, very controversial. So, Economic Affairs, Finance, what are they going to do to help us, deal with how expensive things are just to be here in this country? And then you look at agriculture and marine resources. I understand that we should expect some more eggs soon, some more eggs out of the golden yolk program. But I got to tell you, I saw something online the other day. I mean, you got eggs cheaper than the golden yolk eggs in the food store, which is going to make it tricky, right? Because we do want to be able to feed ourselves. We do want to have food sustainability, but it's going to cost us, right? Initially, it is going to cost. It's probably going to cost us long term if we want to be able to feed ourselves, because there are cheaper options that are available. So will Bahamians buy our own eggs, invest in that program so that it is sustainable? Or will this be a situation where everything else is so expensive that we can't even buy our own products because they're not cheaper, actually, they're more expensive? Interested to see what Ministry of Agriculture does in that sense.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I am so tired of hearing these PLP leading talk shows and these PLP trolls calling in, making fun of the FNM and boasting that they won't see power for the next 25 years, but they will not talk about the issues of the day that need to be discussed. Thank you, MJ and Naughty, for speaking truth to power and not letting this 30K scandal go. This needs to be talked about. MJ, talks on the streets when I was hearing at the FNM rallies last week and week before was this election was called early by the PM because of this very drug case allegedly was on the horizon. Even Pintard mentioned on stage, but nobody listened.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing about this. That's because that the case in the Southern District of New York, and there are still several Bahamians who have been charged and who are awaiting trial. So this was not going to be something that was going to go away. But this added aspect now of this plane crash that was so miraculous, that was the headline at first, and now it's turning into something else, and that something else connects directly to the Southern District of New York as well as Georgia, is quite the scandal. So instead of that case, getting smaller and going away, it seems to be getting bigger and pulling in more people. Our job as a country, as a sovereign nation, is to deal with whatever's going on that may be illegal in this country. We don't need the U.S. to tell us what's happening here in the Bahamas. We don't need the U.S. to tell us if we have some illegality happening here. We have armed forces that are quite safe. We have the police force. We have a new commissioner of police. One of the reasons that she's there now is because we got rid of the old commissioner, and we got rid of the old commissioner because of the scandal. And this should have been one of the first things investigated. So the fact that it keeps ballooning, but the balloon ain't getting blown up by us, is a problem. We need our police force. We need our commissioner to get on top of this. I see that the OPM says the investigations will start. Well, let's hope that they can quickly, because you're playing catch up now. The U.S. got a lot of information, it seems. You're playing catch up. We need to get to the bottom of this for our own sake.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Enjoying the show as always. Listen, I must share this with you. I've been laughing for the last 5 minutes heading up on the Eastern Road. I have noticed that nary a word, not even one word, from Johnny Two Times in relation to the plane crash or the 30K. Johnny Two Times, real fraud out, Johnny.
The 30,000, the optics around that, the fact that cash was moving from one island to the next on election day in cash. I mean, that's a problem. That's another layer of this problem that we have to deal with. So I would trust that the investigation that the police force is now launching into the plane crash and everything else surrounding it will also encompass the movement of a large amount of cash from one island to the next. You had voters on that plane. The optics are not good. So that needs to be covered in the investigation as well. We need to understand exactly what is happening, because right now, the way that people are looking at this, we're looking at potential compromise surrounding our whole election system, because people want to know, why was that cash moving on a plane with mostly political supporters? It is not, and voters, according to their own, press conferences.
And then add the comments of the international observers, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding.
Yeah,
and his comments said that the system needed to change, and that been saying some changes need to have been made over 2 or 3 election cycles from before.
Yeah, that was
an ongoing suggestion.
When he said that, he don't even know why they bother coming. Like, they're getting to the point now where they're throwing up their arms like, I don't know why we bother people, because we keep giving them good recommendations and they just not trying to change, So yeah, I think that part of the investigation should take place quickly, and we should get some statement. I know that we're still waiting for the Prime Minister himself to speak on this whole episode, but I think we should hear some stuff from the Royal Bahamas Police Forces. So we should hear from the commissioner as well. Just tell us, all of the resources. Maybe they're putting together a special task force to deal with this. But I think the sooner we move, it'll signal not only to Bahamians, but to the international community as well, and to foreign law enforcement, that we are taking this seriously and we are going to finally get to the bottom of it ourselves.
All right. Now, like I said, we need to be able to be, like you say, proactive rather than react. We need to be able to initiate investigation, not just play from defense on our heels. Play going forward. Because this is something that should be addressed. We shouldn't have to look at news reports. And another one, like I said, just came out in Orlando in depth, and it's gone European, and it's just crazy.
Man, I see this story now in the New York Post. That means the whole Rupert Murdoch network has it, and they ain't gonna paint no rosy picture necessarily. This can be like a very salacious story. So cheaper we get in front of it as opposed to just reacting after the fact.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. This country doesn't care about corruption. We accept corruption as a norm. We are a corrupt people. How many of us honestly fill out our customs declaration honestly?
I wouldn't say that we're a corrupt people. Maybe we're passive. We're passive. We see things happening. When I talk to people, like when I go places and people talk, they always express this exasperation that we don't have transparency. It seems like nobody has to be accountable for the things that they do. So a lot of Bahamians are exasperated, but then that's usually the long of it. And like we just express that we're kind of angry, but nobody really does anything about it. I'm hoping that Bahamians are now getting to the point where they want to have their voices be heard more, where they want to, try to guide this brand new administration, kind of guide them into the accountability and transparency that we need. I think it's important for Bahamians to speak out more. You can't want change, but then you're just sitting on the sideline doing about it, because then we won't get change. We won't get a better system of governance for ourselves, no matter who's in office.
That I agree with you 100%. Right, that we need a better system. The system maintains the process no matter who's in office, because too many times the process and the systems change when different administrations come to office. Therefore, i.e., thus, we have no Freedom of Information Act.
And I think that's why it's important, because let's be real now. A lot of Bahamians were led to believe that, you had to pass certain standards, certain benchmarks. If you were, let's say, a person connected to the gaming industry, if you wanted to sit in cabinet. Now we're being told that, no, the law doesn't need to be amended. And yep, they can sit in it. And this is guidance from the gaming board, but the gaming board itself has not explained this decision to Bahamian people, much less, in an open fashion that we can actually examine, that we could look at and say, okay, well, this is their rationality behind it. These things happen, and that's why these persons are now qualified when they would have appeared to have not qualified before. That's the kind of thing that we need. We need more, communication from our institutions, gaming board being one of them. We hear the Christian Council now speaking out against it. So we'll see if we do get that statement from the gaming board. I think it's important. I don't know what's taking them so long. We were promised Monday we would get a statement, but it's now Tuesday and I haven't seen anything yet. Hopefully they explain it, because this question is not going to go away on a trust me, bro. They good. You can't just be like, trust me.
We're getting tired of that trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. They fine. Lay out your rationale. Give us the cogent explanation as to why suddenly persons that in the spirit of the law did not seem to qualify, in the letter of the law, based on what we know so far, didn't seem to qualify. We understand that some things may have changed. So just spell it out and put the question to bed. Now, that's not going to take away the moral question that the Christian Council has. They're coming at it at a different angle. But in terms of, the legal question, which you see the opposition saying this is something that may need to be tested in court, you're not putting that to bed by saying absolutely nothing. Explain to Bahamians, because, Bahamians deserve to know.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I honestly, in my opinion, think this election was purchased. Well, our eggs might be more expensive now, but when the imported eggs are $10, our egg prices will remain $2 to $3.
Yeah, let's
All
hope.
right.
Yeah, but let's hope it's not costing us 50, 60 million in the background, right? Because the thing about it is we need to kind of support it now to make it sustainable. You could say the eggs cost $3 all you want if in the background we're subsidizing this program to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. I mean, we're not going to get the true price, right, if we're subsidizing it in the background. So you do want to make it commercially viable. And to do that, I think you have to be able to maintain the program, which means that you do need support from Bahamian consumers. So, yeah.
All right. I'm with MJ. Let's get the video footage of the House of Assembly in September of 2024. Hey, Naughty and MJ. So this alleged plane crash happened between Freeport and Abaco, but somehow they ended up in Florida. You think the pilot was in on this?
My understanding is, the pilot has gone on record and said that they landed in international waters and then they were in the water for some 5 hours. And the Gulf Stream is there. I'm not making excuses, guys. I'm just telling you what the reasonable explanation is, and that they drifted towards, the United States. I don't know if it was divine intervention.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
it was obviously divine intervention because the first miracle was that everybody survived that plane crash, which was just good news. But
And
I
the
don't know
raft
how
was
they
breaking
ended
and
up
everything,
there.
and then the Coast Guard showed up.
And then there were some on board apparently who couldn't swim. But I'm trying to figure out too, because you do have some serious questions around persons traveling from Abaco to Freeport to vote. Are they normally were they returning home to
Very interesting.
Freeport? Were they returning home? Are they ordinarily resident in Grand Bahama? I'm not sure about what's going on there, but we know that there was cash, a lot of cash on board that flight. So the questions I think surrounding the flight are totally legitimate. It's movements on election day with that amount of money. Those questions are totally legitimate, and the government needs to get to the bottom of that. What happened there?
All right. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Can you please tell us what happened to Earl the Pearl? Where is Pearlie? It is now the 19th, and we haven't heard anything from Pearlie.
You gotta be happy.
Texter, don't get up in arms, because guess what? There's Pearlie. What's going on, Pearlie? She moved fresh off the disabled list and a rehabilitation starter, too.
Welcome
Pearlie is back in the building.
Round of
Lynch is
applause.
back with the Mod Squad, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Pearlie?
And he's on mute.
And typical Pearlie fashion, on mute.
Hey, Pearlie.
Take yourself off mute, Pearlie.
We just got him back. Where's Pearlie?
Back
I'm
on
right
the
here.
injured reserve.
I'm right here. Hey, I'm here
Welcome back.
in living color.
Lovely.
What's happening, MJ? How you doing, darling?
I am great. How are you, Pearlie? We missed
I
you.
am most wonderful. How you doing, my brother?
Glad you're back, bro.
Yeah, good to be back. Miss you guys.
And we missed you as well. We missed you
a
so
lot.
much. And
So
the
what's happening?
listeners have been calling like, when is Pearlie coming back? And we told them, this week. So it's good to have you back finally.
Muff called me and tell me he hope I get better soon and all that, and how's my injury and all that. Every day when people say, when you coming back? I say, I'll be back soon. I'll be back soon.
There you go.
So good to be here. I've been listening. It's been quite interesting. Those who know what I do, I was involved in some other things. Not successful, but I was involved in some other things. But it's good to be back on radio, and it's good to let's keep the government's feet to the fire. Let's keep the people's feet to the fire.
And Pearlie will be back on Thursdays. As always, and we want to thank Anku Sarah for Cahoon Anku Sarah for filling in. And he is definitely part of the Talking Heads team. And you'll be hearing from Anku, throughout the course of the year as well, too. It's not just now that Pearlie's back. You will hear from Anku on Talking Heads. You'll still hear from him on Talking Heads on other times and other time slots. So you definitely want to thank him. But yeah, Pearlie, glad to have him back in the chair on Thursdays. The gang's all here. We're ready to roll. And it's a good thing. Let's get to the phone line. Let's get to the phone lines real quick. We got Jeff on the line. Talking Heads.
Hey, Pearlie, MJ,
hey, my brother.
Naughty.
What's happening?
Good afternoon to all of you. Let me just add another little twist to this little jigsaw puzzle that we have with this crash. What interested me more out of this whole thing was we have a Bahamian pilot flying an aircraft that's not registered in the Bahamas, neither the United States. And I'm trying to figure out how is that even possible for he to be using that aircraft to charter residents from one island to the next. That's the next piece of the puzzle I'm trying to figure out.
Very interesting.
Things happen. So think about that for a second. There's a whole lot of stuff here going on that just doesn't make any sense. You know, that was the first thing that jumped out at me when I read or listened to the story. You know, aircraft not registered in the U.S. nor the Bahamas being used by a Bahamian pilot to ferry passengers from one island to the next. Then this allegation of let me not say drug money, but the amount of money that was on board that aircraft, the redaction of information showing who this and interestingly who politicians won. That's another part of the equation. And, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see what is going to come out from the U.S. courts concerning this matter, along with the other matters that we're looking at, because we still haven't heard the outcome of the Curtis case, which a politician was also alleged to be involved in, and high-ranking police officers. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and no wonder people look at us with jaundiced eyes. But, you know, Bahamians are more informed right now, it seems, as with international news than with our own local news. And we just got to keep our eyes open, keep our ears open, and see where these stories are carrying us. But thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to add that little caveat to this short laundry list of very unusual things as it pertains to this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Interesting comments. I heard a texter or caller says, you know, why we allowing the Americans to investigate this, and we should be doing our own investigations and all that. But we could give a laundry list of the Prime Minister promised in the last 4 years that we never got an answer to, starting with the minister knocking down the police, and some other things that went on. We never got any response. We never got any. So you expect us to get anything on this when this is such an egregious situation we're in right now? I don't see anything else happening. If the Americans don't tell us what's going on, there being problems. Then they're saying, oh, the Americans too biggity. They coming in our country. Cancel our pre-clearance and see what that does for tourism.
Yeah, no, for sure. The Americans are going to continue their investigation, and they're going to reveal what's in their national security, purview to reveal at their own time, whatever's in their interest. But we have interest too, as Bahamians. So I don't see why we need to be stalling on the investigation on this end. Now, we saw a release today from the Office of the Prime Minister, so we're going to see if anything comes out of this. Because if it doesn't, this would have been the second opportunity for the government to get in front of this story. There's going to be a case early 2027, I think it's March, in terms of Mr. Curtis and others. So the information is likely coming out anyway. And you add in this new Gardner aspect to it, Mr. Gardner. The information is coming out. The question is, do we want to be on the receiving end of all of the bad news, or do we want to deal with it here at home? And then, as the OPM said, let the chips fall where they may.
So if an investigation is launched, and if 1, 2, 3 parliamentarians are found to be involved in this, what does that change? Nothing. You have a by-election. They might win or lose the by-election. It doesn't change the outcome of the account for the government. And it really... Do Bahamians really care about this? Do Bahamians really care about corruption in this country?
There's some that think that we don't. But I think that there are a lot of Bahamians. They're not the loudest Bahamians. Perhaps they were the Bahamians that stayed home and just kind of disconnected from the whole election situation, that actually do care about it,
That's worse if you stay home and don't participate in your constitutional rights and you don't speak, you saying let the status quo sit.
Correct. And I think that...
So you're happy with the government. You're happy with having a PLP government in power that don't answer you. That's bottom line.
Well, there's an in-between space, I think, as opposed to being happy or upset. I think there's an in-between space that a lot of apathetic Bahamians occupy. Speaking to some of the young people, they just thought it doesn't make a difference participating, so they started out. I wouldn't say that they're happy or necessarily angry. They just started out because they're sitting in that lane of apathy, which is in the middle. But we need more people who do care about this country's reputation, who do care about corruption. Because like I said, eventually you can pretend it's not happening, but if we have corruption in the halls of parliament, the bill is going to come due for all of us at some point. So you can't.
If this is allowed to fester, it's going to be a huge, horrible boil to deal with on the back end. Let's go to the phone lines. We got a couple of calls, and I got a text specifically for you, MJ, coming up right after the call. Talking Heads. Talking Heads.
Yeah, good afternoon, Naughty. Good afternoon, MJ.
What's happening,
Cleaver?
What's up, Cleaver?
Well, I'm right here, but I'm not going to get into why the FNM lost or why they didn't win. I'm going to save that a later date, because it's still early in the game. But I have a lot to say on that. But in respect to this particular incident involving this politician who was in that meeting in the House of Assembly, I'm not going to stop raising the issue until we get a proper response from the government of the Bahamas. Because if those allegations are true, for me, I'm no lawyer, but I think that's on the borderline of treason. Then you would use the highest place in the land to discuss those type of things. And those who are calling saying the U.S. need to back out our business, obviously they don't understand what's going on, and they're more concerned about colors, party colors, as opposed to our country. I could care less. For me, ladies and gentlemen, I could care less side of the political divide. That politician, if guilty, is. It don't make a difference to me, because if I get in problems, the politician ain't gonna worry about me. And this issue is much, 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 much bigger than a politician or politicians. And our country's reputation is at stake here. When we allow for things to go unchecked. But I would have asked every single one of them to go downtown in Rawson Square, in the public square, and swear under oath that isn't them involved. I do believe those allegations. I strongly believe. And the chips has to fall where they may, and we can't just be getting a knee-jerk or type reaction from the government of the Bahamas. They should be giving us an update every 2 or 3 hours on the hour until this matter is resolved. It should not be business as usual. I don't know what you guys say, but it should not be business as usual no more until we get to the bottom of this and find out exactly who the corrupt politician or politician is. That's just my take on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Good point, Cleaver. I agree. We need to find out.
If the office of the Prime Minister's statement is true and says, they say let the chips, or maybe misquoting, let the chips may they fall where they may, then if they're serious about it, then they need to come out and let us know. And I agree with Cleaver. I don't care which side of the political divide you on. Even though I may support one side, if that's my people, then so may it be. Because I don't stand for that kind of stuff at all. I don't believe in that. I want to see
enforcement. Let's see. Let's have some teeth. Let's deal with it. Like MJ said, and like the other caller said, let's deal with it ourselves, and put it to bed. And that means that in the highest court of the land it has to be dealt with, then so be it.
But, when you hear the allegations are going around, you hear the talk is going around, and if any of it is true, that's a small politician we're talking about, and they don't have the power to do certain things. So it's deeper than that, in my opinion. I just wish we could find out what went down. It's not a good look. This brings back a bad taste in my mouth from what we went through in the 80s with the Brian Ross story and the interview that our Prime Minister at the time had on NBC. And I was in college, and I had a guy shout across the campus, "I hear your Prime Minister is dealing drugs." And
oh my God.
I got offended by that, and I wanted to fight. And I'm like, that ain't your job to talk about my Prime Minister. You worry about Ronald Reagan.
Right.
Let me worry about my Prime Minister. But that's not your job. and so even though I was not a supporter of the prime minister at the time, I defended him because I don't.
Yeah.
So when you see the Americans or foreigners talk about our country like this, that's not a good look. Because guess what? We rely on many of them to come spend their money here in our hotels, our taxi drivers, our straw markets, our restaurants, our foreign direct investments and things. We rely on them. And if this is going to paint a dirty picture, man, if you ever been to Havana, Cuba, you know why I'm worried.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then a worrisome part of the indictment that we read as well was the connection that the U.S. agents are making with government contracts and drug trafficking. Like, what? Like,
Scary.
what?
Scary.
That is an explosive allegation to link government contracts to trafficking money. That is a lot. That's why I'm hoping that the Prime Minister quickly addresses this, that the Commissioner of Police quickly get on top of this. Let's deal with this and put this behind us as best as we can for right now. We know that it's going to continue because of what's happening in New York. But let us say that we did our part here at home to, safeguard the reputation of this country.
And I want to say to the people who are apathetic about voting and who said, "Oh, I really don't care, I can see no change." People, it's gonna affect you because when you can't go clubbing, when you ain't got that money in your pocket, when you ain't got that job, then you can know exactly why you should have voted or come out. And it doesn't tell you how to vote. Just participate. Because see right now, I don't give a crap. It don't bother me. Because they got money in their pocket, they got a job, they're driving a nice Honda, they go into Aura, they go to different places, they're hanging out where they want to hang out because they can do it and it doesn't affect them. But when that start affecting your pocketbook, then you will open your eyes, and I just hope it doesn't be too late.
Phone lines are full. Let's get to the phone call. Talking Heads. Talking Heads. All right, caller, hit us back. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty and MJ, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? And we got Pearly back.
Pearly back. Yes.
Hey, that's why I call in. What's up, Pearly?
Hey, my brother, how you doing? Long time.
Welcome back, son. Welcome back. So now, Naughty said you was on injured reserve. So now you're back on the starting lineup, right?
Yeah, I'm taking it back. Yeah, I'm on the pitch count, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, so I need to hear some more about the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Heat. So
let me tell you this off the top of let me tell you this right now. If Miami wins 5 games next year, be lucky. All right, be satisfied, be happy. Okay, I'm telling you that now. You can put that in the record book.
Pearly.
I'm listening.
No, I don't care if we don't win a game at all, as long as Tua is gone. That's all that matters to me.
That's so cool.
That's all that matters to me. You know that, man, and you know this, man.
That's cool. But for those other Miami Dolphin fans out there, don't expect much this year. Expect Miami to be a top 3 pick in the draft in 2027.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my expectation. MJ, I know you and your glory. Man, that was a game. I have a different level of respect for Wemby.
Oh, tell me about it.
Man, that 3-point shot. Man, he shoot that shot from Iraq to the United States. I didn't know that was possible. My God, he had a missile base in Iraq, and that shot gone. I couldn't believe it.
So crazy.
That was an awesome game.
Yeah,
y'all have a good one.
All right, my brother. Take care. Good to hear your voice.
But yeah, I mean, now that we're sledding into sports, here come the text, man. Good show. Welcome back, Pearly. MJ, our girl, your Spurs are going to sweep them boys for you.
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know. Don't look for those things.
Don't put them out on that.
Defending NBA champions. Don't do
that.
I
like the Spurs in 7. I like the Spurs in 7 in that series.
It's gonna be. I'm not gonna pick anybody because it's that too close to call.
Two really good teams.
Since you mentioned your Miami Dolphins, we haven't spoken, but there's 2 new words for you when you get back to the press box on Sunday. Okay, you know what those 2 words are?
What?
Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs.
Oh boy.
Caleb freaking Downs.
Oh boy.
Did I not get my pet cat from the draft? Aren't you happy? Did I not get my pet cat from the draft? Did it not fall like CeeDee Lamb like I said it would?
You did get who you wanted. You're very happy. Yeah, but I saw a story yesterday. They were talking about the NFC East and talking about which quarterback has a lot to prove in this next season. And one of the announcers said it's really Dak Prescott because he always has a great regular season. He always has a great regular season, but has not been to the NFC Championship game yet, and it's 2-5 in the playoffs. So
I'll agree that he has to prove in the NFC conference, i.e., as in playoff games. I agree there, and get into a conference championship game. But as far as the NFC East goes, Dak is bar none the best quarterback in the NFC. Go look at his career stats. He owns the division.
Oh, I'm not knocking that. He's a great regular season quarterback. I'm not knocking that.
No, I'm just saying.
But there are two other quarterbacks. Well, there's one other quarterback in the NFC who has proven himself in the playoffs.
And we will deal with that because we have the element and the key to deal with that. His name is Christian Parker, defensive coordinator. We will take care of that. Why? Because of Caleb Downs. That's why.
Okay, we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. One thing, you know why Chris Berman has always been my favorite Sports Center announcer, right? That is why they play the game. So you got to play it.
That's true. That is true.
And despite the Cowboys having a wicked schedule and a lot of traveling, I'll tell you now, Pearlie, I've looked at it, I've gone over it. Dallas is either going to be the perennial 12-5 like they always are, 11-6, and they're going to be the NFC East champions. They're going to knock off the Eagles and reclaim the division.
Okay, all right. Chris, make sure to clip that piece for me, please.
And we got plenty of Sundays to talk about it, and we got plenty
I look forward to Sunday
here to talk about it. So I
look
could
forward
break it
to
down
Sunday
to
coming back. I look forward to Sunday coming back to the press box. I missed it, I really missed it. I mean, I had a really wonderful month. I traveled the whole country. I was able to go to most of the family islands and eat some good food and meet some good people. But I miss the show, and I'm so happy to be back. And I look forward to moving forward and talking a lot of current affairs and sports as we go forward and talking heads in the press box.
Yeah, we miss you too for sure, Pearlie.
We glad you're back, bro. You're a big part of the team. You know that. As far as the basketball goes, Pearlie, we got to talk about it. Like I told you all from early on in this season, I said, look, the Spurs team, there's something to them. And here we are.
Well, I thought you were just making sure you don't have to sleep on the couch. So I now understand. I didn't take you too serious. I just thought you, wanted to
look at it. That team is loaded, and them doing it all without De'Aaron Fox, who's injured.
But what you're going to see is this is going to be a good run. But some of them players may not be there next year because some money can throw at them from other teams,
Well, maybe off the bench and off the off of veteran players, but that young core is going to be there for a while.
No, on some of them into their third year now to finish their rookie contract, so it's now time for free agency. One or two of them.
Yeah, but they got bird rights to several of them.
Okay,
and they got first rights of refusal, so then they're not going to go anywhere.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, maybe not that.
You might see them shed a De'Aaron Fox faster than they let it go a Vassell or a Castle.
Because that $50 million that he was wasting on a certain player is now available.
Oh yes, but once you got Luka and Reeves there and build out from there, I think we'll be all right.
I see some nice young players coming there. It will be nice to see.
We need to make sure that we're in a position when Luka gets a little gray in the tooth that we can snatch a certain Bimonite who's in Philadelphia right now and get him in the purple and gold.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Or a certain Frenchman may want to move on to
Nope. Forget it.
Don't even try. One Frenchman in San Antonio. What are you running on with?
I know what you're running on with. I know what you're trying to do. You can take the rest. Just don't touch my Wemby.
Well, you're sitting there in San Antonio. I mean, it worked for Robinson and it worked for
Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Wemby's the new Duncan in San Antonio, bro.
Yeah, but that market. Oh,
I know. I know.
Let's get to the phone lines real quick. We got a special call on the line. Talking heads.
Yeah, Naughty and MJ, how you all doing? Welcome back, Pulse. Welcome back, Pulse. Hey, Pulse, I know you. Hey. I know you have two of them Embiid type knees, man. That's why he's calling to check up on you, man. I know you got two faulty knees.
Well, listen, I I actually started to believe the story when I felt my knees a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but MJ, man, 41 points. But Naughty, what impressed me, you saying Fox out. Castle had 11 turnovers. One man had 11 turnovers.
He had a triple-double, 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 turnovers. Or 11 assists and 11 turnovers.
No, man.
And they still win the game. But what you all think? Shea only had 4 points in the first quarter. You think that's the ceremony with the back-to-back MVP trophy or Russ?
That might have been the layoff, man.
It may have been the layoff.
I think it's more the layoff than anything else.
Yeah, man. So, but tonight, what you think will go on down with Kate Cunningham, man, and Durham and Jennings, there, man, and Game 7, man, to fall up home like that, man.
Youngsters, man, youngsters, pressure.
Inexperienced and pressure, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Because Spider and Harden, the first time he ain't fall up for a little while in the playoff. And choke, he ain't choke. But the night against New York, boy, look here. Anyhow, let me see. I think I came with New York in the first one, even they had all the time off. Because Spider, I'm still do fool sometime. But, yeah, man, welcome back, Perch, man. The songs are good on the radio, man. Welcome back. All right, y'all have a nice afternoon.
Thanks, Marv.
Dexter, why is Naughty talking about Dallas? Because I can. And I will. And now that I know it annoys you, I'll talk about them even more. But pray tell me who your team is so I can talk about them also. MJ, we're keeping our championship team, Spurs for 2026.
Yep.
A lot of Spurs fans coming out now.
No, but you'll be surprised. There are a good bit of Spurs fans in the 242. Like, I know a bunch of Spurs fans.
Agreed. And y'all been quiet for a while, so I don't mind y'all talking.
Exactly. Because when we losing, be quiet. But now we winning, so we talking.
There you go. That's how the thing go. But Pearly, I think we got a lot of decisions to make in LA. But like I was telling the Laker fans in your absence, that management team that's coming in from the Dodgers to take over that, since we got new ownership, they don't play that. They put teams together and they don't care about the luxury tax.
We into winning. We just into winning. That's trophies and championships is what matters.
So I think they're going to spend some money in this offseason. I really think that the Lakers are going to spend some coin on some free agents. And we'll see a may go over to that. Technically, only Luka's under contract, and obviously they want to bring Reyes back, but he's a free agent. So if you bring him back, he's going to be a pretty penny, but you're still going to have some money to spend to build out that bench. Where does LeBron end up, though? I think he ends up in Cleveland for the Swan song.
Or Indiana.
Indiana. Wow. Where'd you hear that, Pearly?
Wow.
Some article I read. I can't remember where I read it, but it's an article I read that Indiana has some money to spend, and they wouldn't mind up bringing him there.
And then they got to bring Bronny there, too. And you never know. But anyway, let's get to the
I saw another article talking about the Lakers would be stupid to let Bronny go. I asked that person if they crazy.
Whoever wrote the article was stupid.
So he started to improve, and he started to look good as a player. He dominated the G League, and he started to, play a lot better. And we should consider.
Dominated what G League? He had moments in the G League. Let's go to the phone lines. We should consider
bringing him and all that stuff. So I thought it was kind of interesting.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking heads.
And Cole's supposed to be coming back on Friday. So winning is the key. We have to have some challenges, but we're dealing with them now. This is as aggressive as the Yankees front office has been in years. So this World Series is going to come right back to New York. You have to come to the Big Apple, brother. You want a three-peat to have to happen to New York.
Pearly, Mr. Yankee calling you out, boy.
All right.
Mr. Yankee's a very loyal Yankee fan, and I don't blame him. But you worry about the Lake, you worry about the Dodgers, worry about Toronto. Get past them first.
Ouch.
Worry about San Diego. Get past the Padres first.
Well, it don't really work that way because they do.
I'm talking about right now, in the moment, in the present.
I get
this
you.
This is May 19th. All right, talk to me about that in October when we in the top of the league, and we eliminate them. Then you talk to me. They rose to the occasion yesterday because that's what they do in May. They beat up on us in May and then can't beat us in October.
This is true. And it's always better to win in October than it is to win in May. But that's baseball. That's when baseball eats up. But Pearly Boy, we got football coming up on the horizon too, man. And Wednesday night football might be an option in future seasons. What do you think about that?
I think that's too much. I think that I like Thursday, Sunday, Monday is enough. Let's give us something to crave, you know?
No, I disagree. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Sunday and Monday sounds great to me.
And then next thing you want Tuesday night too, right?
Yeah, that's for college football. That's for college football.
Okay, all right.
And so is Friday. And if I can't find a good college game, I'll watch a high school game from somewhere in Texas. That's how it goes. We watch football during football season. But man, I'm glad to have you back, Pearly.
And so good to be back. I'm so happy to be back. This is a pastime that I've been enjoying, and I'm so grateful that you and MJ saw the wisdom to have me there. So I'm glad to be back.
And we got to get to the picks in short order. But like I said, be sure to join me and Pearly and Statboy on Sunday and Mega from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the press box.
Which is a great show, by the way. I listen every Sunday. You guys do such a great job. I like it because, you give us all of the sports inside information, but just the whole vibe of the show, I think is really great. So congrats on another great talk show to you too.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. And I know you got a little special interest like I do. Very proud to see our boy Statboy doing his thing.
Learning from the best, yes.
and it's good to see him doing his thing, and glad to know that he's gonna continue the legacy when he goes off to college, because glad to know that he wants to be a broadcast major. So to know that he wants to follow in our footsteps is just absolutely humbling to me too. You know what I mean? Because if
that is so awesome.
If there's any two men on the planet or young men on the planet who I willingly want to better than me in everything in life, it's our sons. Nobody else but our sons.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I'm happy to know that and to do the show and to have it on Sundays. And a lot of people enjoy it, like I said, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you all listening in and tuning in and chiming in. And keep on listening out, because Pearly, for fantasy football, listen here. Mm-hmm. I can't talk too much, but for fantasy and for the NFL season, big things popping with one of our big time good sponsors. That's all I can say.
Okay.
But trust me when I break it down to you, buddy.
I got you.
And MJ and Pearly, so we're good with Bud Light for the upcoming season too.
Bud Light.
That's what I'm talking about. Nice and cold from Wednesday night.
Okay.
Good stuff.
They're kicking off Wednesday night this year, and we should have a Wednesday night game every year. I'm gonna get a petition going. We need Wednesday night football. It's better.
I've got to tell you, I kind of agree with Pearly. It's too much. It's a lot, So every now and again a Wednesday game, but not like a regular every Wednesday now. Like the whole week dominated by football. It's a lot.
Let me ask you this question, Noddy. And I was in between. How do you feel about all these international games? Are there too many?
I like them because obviously the NFL is trying to globalize the product and the brand. So I get it, and I like more international games than just the UK and Germany. Not that I don't like the UK games. I still like them 9 o'clock kickoff games, so keep them up. The German game, same thing. The one in Spain was nice to see it from Spain. I think Brazil's going to be a great game, the Ravens and the Cowboys, but it's traveling. This year, the travel is going to be like a mofo to some of these teams. The 49ers kick it off against the Rams, I think, in Australia. Then they come back and got East Coast travel. Dallas and Baltimore go to Brazil, which is a 10-hour flight. When they come back, Dallas has a 45-minute flight to Houston, but they face one of the top defenses in the league. So That could be a 2-game losing streak for the Cowboys just based on travel alone.
Yeah, that's a lot. That takes a lot out of you. I agree.
But again, though, to push the NFL global, it's always good. And to get them early kickoffs, I love it. 7:45 kickoff. Yeah, let's do this.
It ain't bad having, replacing my coffee for a Bud Light. That ain't too bad.
You blend right in. You go from the boiled fish to the group of fingers to the cold buds. That's what I'm talking. And the wings.
But you know what it is to be football from 9 a.m. to midnight. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's feeding. The FNM is definitely feeding its fans.
Yeah, that's all, Kevin.
All right, so we gotta get to the break because the hard rap's coming up. Mr. Producer, give me the signal. We gotta get the picking for tonight. The Cavaliers on the road and taking on the next Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1. Knicks 6.5-point underdog. Favorites, 6.5-point favorites for the Knicks. Listen, the Knicks have had a week off. I like the Cavaliers plus the 6.5 just based on momentum and the fact that they've been playing basketball. So I'm going to roll the dice tonight. I'm going to say, give me the Cavs plus the 6.5. I like them to win game 1 outright. Steal game 1.
I think they battled too hard. That was a hard-fought battle. I like the Knicks under points, and I like the Knicks in 5.
I like the Knicks in 6, but yeah. I just think momentum serves Cleveland well tonight.
No, I think the Knicks are rested. I think there's nagging injuries. The little nagging injury that Bronson had is now all rested up. I think that you're going to see a well-rested, healthy Knicks team. Chemistry, like you say, the timing may be a little off, but I think by the second half, they'll get it together. I think the Knicks blow them out.
All right, well, for MJ and for the newly returned Pearly, this is your boy Naughty. For everybody who called in, chimed in, texted in, good stuff. From Mr. Producer, we appreciate you. And tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll see you here on Talking Heads. And don't forget Thursday, Pearly's back. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Talking Heads. Have a good one.
Cool runnings.
Cause a brand that the fans trust. So even if they ban us, they'll never slow my plans up.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape. A Carib-Greek fusion born here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
KFC has a bold new flavor you'll love. Introducing the all-new Barbecue Rap Star. We're talking a juicy chicken breast filet, fried to golden crisp perfection, covered in sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, topped with cheese, then wrapped in a delicious toasted tortilla with flavor in every bite. Go spicy or keep it original. Either way, it's a star for a reason. The new Barbecue Rap Star is the star of the menu at KFC Nassau. Get yours today at any KFC Nassau location.